Now, the default way of getting around your content and your standard parts in AutoCAD Mechanical is to use your content libraries here that we've just been working with. Now, they're on the Content tab on the ribbon. Now, I'm going to close the content libraries and we're going to have a look at just basically what we've got here on our Content tab on the ribbon. We have obviously the library panel, we have fasteners, we have holes, we have a shaft there and a shaft generator. We can also utilize Power View. Those are our tools there. You'll notice, look, we have springs, and you can insert springs in the drawing. We have chains and belts. We also have steel shapes. So there's lots of ways and means of getting around. So if I went to, let's say here, in the fasteners, and went to screw, that would insert a screw or a bolt from the content library. So if I click there, what happens? Well, basically, I get a slightly different dialog box, but it's still the same content. But all I'm looking at now are screws. So it defaults to screws and gives me all the screw types that I can use. So there's my hex heads again there. So when I click there now, look, there's my BS3692 again. Full threaded or regular thread. So if I go for a regular thread like that, you'll see that I get a lot more detail. I'm drilling down much, much further. I'm going to go for a front view, and I'm going to specify an insertion point, which is going to be that midpoint there. And then the rotation angle is going to go across to there. And I'll go for, let's say, an M3, and I'll finish that. And as you can see, there it is there. And I'll go for just a size there. As you can see, I can only go so far, because that particular family of bolts only go to a certain length. As soon as I click that, though, it's inserted again. And again, notice it's a dynamic block again. So I can click on it. I can click there. I can increase the diameter to say an M8, like so. Drag the size like that. Click there again, go for length, and I'll go for a standard length of 40. And there we go. Hit escape to deselect. And I've done all of that off of the ribbon instead of using the content libraries. So you can see that there's lots of different ways and means of getting around here. Now, let's say, for example, I want to add another piece of steel work, like this angle plate here. I can go up to here, like so, steel shapes, and lo and behold, it looks very familiar, doesn't it? So I'll go for another L shape there, let's say, and I'll go for an equal angle again there, and into the drawing area here, and I can pick which one I want. So there's equal angles there, and I come in here like so, and I can place that in the drawing. So I can do anything I want, really. I'll just close that for the moment so that we can see the screen. But basically, you're just adding information to the drawing as you go. So like I said, with the steel shapes, the springs, the chains and the belts, you can do all of that and build all of that up using the tools there. I can generate a shaft, which would be, let's say, a gear shaft or a cam shaft, something like that. So you'll notice there I've got tools for undercuts on a shaft, roller bearings, plane bearings, and shaft ends. So I can basically generate whatever I want. If I delete this here, this is very clever. Notice when I delete that, it still leaves the gap. If I do a regen, will that help? Let's check. No, it doesn't. Because, obviously, it cut that hole originally to place that bolt through. So, there's no turning back sometimes. I'll just undo that and bring that back in again. So you've got to be careful there, because once you've cut through that, obviously it's gone. But saying that, it's very quick and easy to place another one back in the drawing. I just go to there, find my L shape like so. There it is there. I want a front view of that. I pick an insertion point. It will then ask me for the size. It's taking a few seconds there. It'll obviously ask for rotation angle as well. I'll go for 0 there and just press enter. So I can place the next section in there, which I know was one of those. It was 100 by 100 by 15, that one there. So I'll click on next, 250, finish, and there it is again. So it's very quick and easy to place another one, and if I delete that there, so be it. That's gone, but I've got another one there to go in its place if need be. So it's just a case of inserting, tweaking, editing, erasing, and so on. But let me show you something. I'm just going to go back a few steps here. If I do something slightly different and go modify and do a power erase here, and select that object, and then right click, look what happens. I used the standard erase earlier. You'll notice power erase, intelligent objects. So I didn't need to do that after all. But it's very clever, isn't it? You'd think, oh, I've just erased that. Let's just undo that again. So if I just do a normal erase there by pressing, say, the delete key or going to erase on the ribbon, so I'll press the delete key, leaves the gap. Undo that erase. If I go to modify and power erase, so much better. Leaves the section as it was before I inserted the bolt through it. So that's your ribbons and menus. I've shown you some little examples there. As you can see, easy to get around, nice comfortable user interface, makes you more effective and more productive, which obviously your boss is going to like because you're going to make him more money by being more effective and more productive.